In our first draft of The Connector, it started like this. That's a pianist playing the Schumann Fantasy in C for reasons that I will explain in a much later episode. And we saw the pianist playing, and then Ethan came out. Ethan Dobson is holding a light bulb. He puts it in the socket and he turns it, the light bulb turns on. And then Ethan says to us, the story you're about to hear was first published in September of 1998 in the legendary magazine, The Connector. And then he sings this.
He is dressed in a light blue shirt and some black slacks from the Gap. He wears a red tie that he swears he found on a bench on Upper Broadway, and he has white canvas sneakers that say young but not unpolished, and the wide-rimmed glasses, because Dobson understands context. Dobson understands context. Ethan Dobson, 24 years old, understands context.
There's only one show that I've ever written where the opening number stayed the same from the first draft until opening night, and that was Parade. And in every other case, I've had to rewrite the opening sometimes 3 or 4 times before I get it right. And that's totally natural. If you start writing by writing the opening, as you go along, you're going to learn things. And as you learn things, they change what you might have thought the show was, and they refine the vocabulary and all of that. I kind of think it's like your high school girlfriend. It's like it's highly unlikely that you're going to spend the rest of your lives together. But you got to start somewhere, and you can learn a lot while you're there. So what we learn a lot of the time on my shows is that the opening doesn't do what it's supposed to do. What does an opening number do? The opening number should set up the world of the show so that the story can get told. Great opening number is going to do that in 3 ways. First of all, setting. Literally, like, where is the story getting told? When is it getting told? And who is the community of people or animals or robots or whatever who are telling the story? Secondly, it's great if you could have some kind of thematic hook that you can hang the rest of the story on. Something like tradition, or the world's gonna know my name, or even I built myself a home. Something that the audience can keep in their back pocket to remember why they're watching this particular story. And then thirdly, and kind of most importantly, an opening number should tell you what the rules of the show are. Like, how does the company function here? And what's the genre of music in the show? Is it being told realistically or abstractly or impressionistically? Do the songs tell the story directly or do they comment on it? You get all 3 of those things done, you get yourself a pretty great opening number. So I had written that first opening number, Dobson Understands Context, and then we did a little reading of the first half of the show, just to see sort of how it felt. And we realized several things, the most consequential of which is that Ethan should not be the narrator of his own story. Ethan's going to turn out to be a very unreliable narrator. So we needed there to be someone that the audience could trust, or else the show was going to sort of be wobbling back and forth all night long, just sort of feel unsteady. And we realized that Robin, the copy editor, sort of functioned as solid ground throughout the piece, so she should be the narrator. And so Robin is our solid ground. And what that should mean, therefore, is that she should lead the opening number. But we didn't figure that out yet. And when I say we, I probably mean me. But we were dealing with another problem in the opening number, which is that once we took Ethan out of it, in that sense, we had to deal with the fact that what was the thematic headline? What was the thing that we were trying to set the audience up to pay attention to about the story we were telling? And what Daisy and Sherman and I really wanted to explore was the very slippery concept of truth. What is truth? Is it like a set of facts, or do those facts need context? And how complete does that context have to be? And if the context is incomplete, does it make the facts less true? And conversely, if you have a bunch of information that isn't true at all, but it feels deeply authentic, if it feels emotionally true, then isn't it on some level the truth? And that was all the stuff that we wanted the show to be about. And it seemed like the best idea to put those concepts into the mouth of Conrad O'Brien, the very legendary editor of the very legendary magazine, The Connector. And he's there at the 50th anniversary of the founding of the magazine and celebrating their upcoming issue. And he's pontificating about this very thing, the nature of the truth. And the song is actually called The Truth, because why be subtle about this? But there's even one more thing. When I did Dobson Understands Context, I was coming off of that Schumann piece, which is all that I can play of the Schumann. But I had by now written like 5 or 6 songs for the show, and it was pretty clear to me that that wasn't representative of what the music for the show was. And I wanted something that more said New York in the 90s, something that was a little more groove-oriented, and just sort of set up the world of the show musically a little better. And without overthinking it, the sound that came into my head was actually this. And I'd never written a song that had that groove to it, and I thought, oh, that would be really fun to play with that groove. And so this was the second draft of the opening.
The truth is more than just the facts. The facts are just a piece of the emotional reality. And here, since 1945, we've lived by our conviction that the facts alone do not convey the truth. We synthesize, we improvise, we scrounge and we collect, aspiring and requiring to be worthy of this title. We connect. Humble the kings, raise up the silenced, shine light on the shadowed as well. Humble the kings, summon the angels with all that we have, all that we have, all that we have is the truth that we promise to tell.
So that was the second draft of the opening we wrote, and as much as I loved playing that music with the band, it was so much fun, but it was also really clear that that wasn't the right opening either. It was very obvious. It was Robin's job to introduce us to the world of the Connector, and once I figured that out way too late, I knew exactly what I had to write.